it not feel like 2 days ago that you were filming?
No.
Yeah.
It does, and it doesn't. Gee, face, why are you crying?
I've got like my watery eye.
Oh, I forgot about your watery eyes. Oh, Jem, you're back.
Yeah.
You're back.
I think this is going well, right?
Gemma needs to stop crying so we can start.
I'm getting flashbacks.
I think what we used to do was you would go outside, take some time to yourself. Oh, that's right. And no one talks to Gemma when she's like this because everything sets her off. Hey guys, I'm Dominic Deutscher. I played Cam on Mako, Mermaids, and I live on the Gold Coast in Australia.
Hi everybody, my name's Brookley. I played Carly and I'm also on the Gold Coast in Australia.
Hi, my name is Rowan Hills. I played David on Mako, and I'm currently in lovely Melbourne.
Hey, I'm Alex Cubis. I played Eric, and I am currently in Los Angeles in America.
Hi, I'm Gemma. I played Evie on Mako, and I'm in Sydney, Australia.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I played Ondina on Mako, and I am in Los Angeles.
I'm Amy Ruffle. I played Serena, and I'm currently in Melbourne, Australia.
Hi, my name's Ali. I played Mimi on Mako Mermaids, and I am currently in Windermere, British Columbia, Canada, at our cabin. So pretty out there.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
That's ridiculous.
And it's like mountains there, so everyone's body's sleeping and everyone's here drinking. We had pizza. We have a pizza oven, so we have pizza pies.
Hey.
It took us 25 minutes to name down. How long did it take?
Okay guys, first question. What was it like to swim in the tails? Are they heavy? Was it hard to act underwater? And what was the most challenging part? So all tail questions.
It was really hard for me.
I think the swimming part was actually the easier part. Like once you're in the tail, it's like it helps propel you. So the swimming part was actually kind of easy-ish, but it was like getting in and out of the tail was chaos. And then just like also sitting in the tail was a very strange experience too. They're super heavy, but like handcrafted and just like the most amazing piece of engineering.
So acting underwater was a funny beast. You can't see very far underwater. I've never tried it. I don't know if I have. So there were a couple of stingray, head-on mermaid collisions, some big blue fish that would kind of startle you. But overall, it was quite fun acting together underwater. You figure it out. You just like, you know, it's kind of similar to acting above water, but
but not.
Acting underwater, I mean, we couldn't obviously see. I remember I thought that I was grabbing a rope to like hoist me up like through the reef in SeaWorld, but I actually grabbed the tail of a stingray. But otherwise, it was just fun. Like it was like being a superhero, but underwater.
How was everyone's breath hold by the end of the series? Like underwater, did you like your breath hold? Or was
That's what I missed. Yeah, actually, not being like a good swimmer anymore is like probably part of the thing that I miss. Like it was a pretty cool skill to learn.
Yeah,
I remember I did like a little bit of training with you guys and the stunt coordinator Mitch, and learning what you guys were doing with your breath holding. And I think within 2 hours, I'd gone from being able to hold my breath underwater for like 40 seconds to like a minute 40, just doing those exercises. And then I was like, wow, that was really hard. And I was like, I don't want to do this wearing a tail.
Like, it was my favorite part of filming was like the mermaid aspect, because it was like the most magical part. We were like with fish and like stingrays and the gropers and sharks, and it was just like the days that the mornings, because it would always be like 5 a.m. starts, and you'd like get rolled into the water. It would be freezing. Roll, fish flop in. But those mornings are like my favorite. Like looking back, like those are like swimming in the tail is magical. the whole behind the scenes of the tale is chaotic. And the hardest thing about acting underwater was doing all the chlorine stuff when your eyes were just like burning. You're trying to find like a camera that's like 20 feet in front of you, and you couldn't focus on where it would be. But we were lucky because they had like microphones under the water. If people don't know that, so they would like be like, oh, a little to your left, and you'd be like, okay, I think I'm going this way, or go to the right, veer to the left, like so and so's in front of you, and like they would like talk you through it. Or with the
I remember doing the scuba stuff and being underwater with that same microphone, and it was just like
Got the scuba thing on.
and I could hear, the director start getting a bit frustrated.
And how fun though was the training? Like the training the month before of training was like my favorite part.
Yeah, the pre-production.
100%.
What was everybody's favorite episode and season, and why, Amy?
Oh boy. I don't know if I mean, this season was so much fun because like we just had a really good time behind the scenes too. We just laughed honestly so much. It was really, really fun and super hard to focus, but in the best way. I don't know if I have a favorite episode. It's kind of hard to distinguish because we shot by location, not by episode. So it's hard to like pick out an episode, but I remember I didn't get many scenes with Dom. Our characters just didn't interact. And so like the few scenes, the few scenes, it was in my contract to not do them. But I recruited that. So any scene I did get to do with Dom, I remember always like having a lot of fun. So yeah, that's probably my answer.
Well, like the funnest thing I ever filmed was the finale of season 1 when I was upside down falling into the moon pool, and the girls were moon ringing me away because I was suspended, 20 meters, maybe not 20 meters, maybe like 15 meters in the air, and I'd gone through the training, wearing the harness and sort of this elaborate trapeze act. Was incredibly fun and something I'd never done before. And then filming it was, I got to be evil. I got to be proper, I'm the bad guy. I'm going to win this. And of course I didn't because... What's that?
We just misunderstood. You weren't evil.
That's right. See, because season 2, I was, a nice guy again. Most of my favorite scenes were like the in the cafe, where all of us were there together. And it was usually the resolution of an episode where we were all in the cafe listening to Amy sing with Rowan playing guitar. Wait, did you play guitar?
Fake playing guitar.
Yeah, but you are a fantastic guitar player. They just weren't your songs. The scenes where we were all together and we ate lunch together and we would fake dance together while when there was there's no music playing, and we're just like sort of stomping around, and those are my favorite.
I'd second what Dom said. Like, even though it was an ensemble show, it's pretty rare for all of us to be filming scenes as a group. Some personal favorites was the episode where Ondina got a job at the cafe, and I had to train her. I think because Eric was such like an outsider, so it was like the one time where I was able to do something well. Otherwise, I was always screwing up. I felt like, I'm a part of the tribe now.
Probably my favorite episode for me was when I got to be Cat Evie. I remember trying to do like some weird stuff in the trailer, and Brooke was there, and I was like, "Does this look all right?" I was so nervous, and then I just kind of got carried away with it by the end.
Hey, Evie! Evie!
David was always in the cafe, and whilst, like Dom said, those moments were really nice. Obviously, having the whole team, not just the in front of camera team, but also the behind the camera team. It was always an all hands on deck exercise, and we all got along so well. So definitely that. But other than being surrounded by Serena's magic, there wasn't a lot of magic for David. So definitely in the moon pool episode where he falls in and all that.
Yes.
All the
And we sang.
moon rings and everything like that. Very cool. Even just being on that set was very fun. So yeah, definitely my number one.
It's so hard, and you're bringing up so many memories, and I'm
I
like,
know.
It's so many memories. The one when we were all together was so fun. I'm sure they were incredibly hard to shoot, but I think like also I've just remembered some like funny, when you mentioned the cafe, there was that, I'm just remembering funny things that happened, like bloopers, when Gemma sneezed and her hair went, like just the funny things that happened, and we would be in stitches.
Yeah, one of you see it this is calling for a
Yes, being on set and having that belly laugh experience with like your friends and cohorts, and you spend so many hours of the day with these people, and you just, the contagious laughter that gets the crew going, and it's just this feeling that you don't get anywhere else on Earth. I haven't experienced it anywhere else other than like set. And so like as a whole, I think it's just like, it's such a special experience.
I mean, I had like, I think behind the scenes, like for all the seasons that we were there for, I think it was like, if you could see behind the scenes and like what we were doing in between takes, it's like, that's what I remember almost more than like I don't remember the episodes of being my favorite, but it was like being in like the grotto. And remember like the one time, Amy, it was the season with you, and it was like the excellent jokes that just kept going and going and going, and then it was just like those things I think that like made the show between cuts, like we were so like delusional at that point after filming such like long hours, but like that I thought was like, yeah, those memories are almost what I remember more than the actual episodes. And when I go back, if I like rewatch an episode, it's like I'll be like, oh my god, that was the day that this happened, or this is, and like you remember it by like those kind of milestones and stuff. But then I was really lucky, I got to work at like the SeaWorld, and so the episode that I filmed with dolphins was like magical, and then I also got to work with penguins, so I was lucky that I got to work with the animals.
I guess for me, you guys all bring up the cafe, but I'm like Rowan, I was always in the cafe, so whenever I got out of the cafe was the best time for me. I think filming with Dom on the island, when I just love the episode when Cam and Carly get stuck on the island and Cam can't do anything.
I forgot about that. That's my favorite episode. That's my answer. Oh, this is a shelter, so we can stay on the beach and wait for passing boats. Well done.
Cam can't do anything and Carly can do everything right. I mean, I love that. And season 2, I love season 2. But yeah, I mean, it was fun having everyone in the cafe together, but it was just nothing really different for me. And I really didn't like the fake dancing. It was one of my worst. I hated those days when we had to fake dance to no music. The worst.
Do you remember that when we were running down the thing and you kept
going over?
It was like 4 takes, and every time you get to the end of the
we're losing light, and everybody has to run down the what would you call it?
Pier. It's like a pier, right? Yeah. Oh, jetty.
Come to the end, and I just slip under, like and slip, and I'm just like out of frame. Try that again. Are you okay? We go back, and I did it again. It was like.
Dom, where's Mako Mermaid shot?
Mako Mermaids is shot pretty much entirely on the Gold Coast of Australia. We shot at Tallabudger Creek, which is not far from where I live, which is a traditional Aboriginal land. And we were able to close the south side of the beach for a long time, which living here, I realized, was such a privilege because it is every day, even during winter on a rainy day, it's packed full of people. So we shot there. We also shot at the Broadwater Parklands, where there's a large pier. And this is one of my favorite things about our location shoots, is that they built a cafe on the pier and just the outside of it. So every time you see us on that pier, on that jetty, walking into the cafe, we then cut, and we didn't do the rest of that scene until about 3 months later, when we were inside the studio, where the interior was built inside a soundstage. And those sound stages are at Village Roadshow Studios, which is near Movie World on the Gold Coast, a place called Helensvale. And they've shot lots of things there, like Narnia, Pirates of the Caribbean, the rock
Unbroken,
San Andreas, and that's just recently. And that, contemporary to when we were filming there, they've filmed a lot of stuff there since then. They've revamped it since then as well. They've built a massive thing out the front that was used for Narnia. Do you guys remember when we were filming and they built like an office building for San Andreas? Yeah, like that massive office building that was there.
Helicopter off the side of the cliff as well.
Helicopter off the side of the cliff, yeah. But we also filmed a lot of people, especially if you haven't been to the Gold Coast of Australia, don't realise that behind these world-class beaches that we have, about 45 minutes away, is this beautiful hinterland, where we've got Springbrook National Park, Tamborine National Park, or Tamborine Mountain, and we filmed a lot up there as well. So a lot of the time when you see us going into the jungle on Mako Island, where then you see us in the jungle, we're actually in the mountains behind the Gold Coast, which I think is amazing. So they really utilise the beauty of where we live and where we worked at the time.
All right, so what does a day look like while filming Mako Mermaids? Who wants to answer that?
Early mornings.
3 a.m.
Yeah, early.
Like 3 a.m. 3 a.m. was a norm. If you were 3:30, you're like, oh, okay. And if it was 4, you're like, wow, this is a sleep-in.
Would you guys say like the best part of your day was getting into the hair and makeup truck with all those people?
Yes.
So fun.
Yeah, they were the best. And I think like us girls in particular spent like a lot of time in the makeup truck because we shot by location. We were always changing our look to be for different episodes. And so we'd be like in sometimes like 3 or 4 different changes during the day. And our hair was always very elaborate. So we were in there for a long time. And I think some of my fondest memories for sure are like weird sing-alongs in the makeup trailer, or I think we had like breakdowns in there too. Like it was like a home. So you felt really comfortable to be super happy, super sad, like whatever you needed to do. The makeup and hair team were like the greatest ever.
Also deciding working out what dessert was going to be that day was a big part.
Banoffee pie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I miss that banoffee pie so much. I don't think I've had some since then.
Me too.
I haven't.
Obviously, other cast members still friends. We're obviously not friends at all, right? I don't know.
sick of this.
I filmed on Dom's short film. I saw Ali. I saw Amy in LA. I saw Izzy in LA.
You don't spend that much time with people and not create a pretty special friendship that can be sort of picked up instantaneously when you see them again.
Yeah.
Well said.
I mean, the games at the beginning really just say it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy energy that, like, as soon as we got on the Zoom call was like just depicts exactly how it was on set.
Oh, it's just like we've just had breakfast and we're walking into the soundstage ready to shoot a cafe scene.
Yeah.
So, what was everyone's audition process?
Mine was kind of fun. I was in Vancouver living at the time, and I like went and I had 2 auditions to tape that day. So I like taped the other one first, and I was like, there's this mermaid show, and I'm like, they want me to wear like a bathing suit top. I was like, this is weird, but whatever, I'll put it on for like the last scene. So I did like all the scenes, and it was good. And then I remember at the bottom of the audition, it just kind of said, tell us about your like athletic ability. And I just remember telling about my dance and like doing like dancer arms. And every time Jonathan's always like, it's when you started doing your dancer arms, you look like a mermaid underwater. And then about a week later, I got a call and they're like, hey, we want to make sure that you can swim. I was like, trust me, like I can swim. Like I grew up on a lake, like I know how to swim. And they're like, no, we're going to fly you to Australia just for 2 days. You have to pass a swim test. You'll meet the producer and then they'll fly you back to Canada. And I was like, okay. So I remember like getting on the flight. My swim test was like one pool length and it was like, okay, yeah, no, she can do it. Perfect.
Is that
and then like I had dinner with Jonathan and then like went back 2 days.
Ali, I think
Were
you and I
with
did
us
this
that day? Was that your day?
And we were all so nervous. I remember I was like so nervous because I was like, are they gonna make me swim like 2 kilometers? Like I don't know if I can do that.
I didn't know. I thought I was going to be auditioning up against like other guys, and then there were going to be other like Eric contenders there that I would have to like race against them or something. But and then I knew each other from high school days, and we hadn't seen each other for years, and then we were on the same plane, and that was the first time that like we had seen each other.
I had no idea that you guys knew each other from high school.
Yeah.
Well, not the same high school, but like we went to, I went to an all boys school, Izzy went to an all girls school around the corner from each other. So we sort of had like a lot of mutual friends and stuff.
They made it seem like there was going to be like 3 options for Undina and 3 for
Yeah.
Eric. And then we got there and we were like, okay, this isn't so bad. And I knew Chai as well. I knew Chai back from dancing when we were like, I think I met Chai when I was like 15, 16. So it was kind of wild to be starting a new journey, but then have familiar faces as well.
Our process for season 1 was a little different because we all got flown to the Gold Coast and there was 5 girls and 4 boys for 3 girls and 1 dude part. So we were there against like people that you were directly going to be having the same. Yeah, it was really strange. But because it was over 2 days, it kind of like dissipated the nerves. I think when you first got there, I was like so nervous. But the first day we did like water stuff, and then we went to Tom McSweeney's house, the casting director, and played board games. And so we all got to know each other and sort of like just humanize the thing. And then the next day we did all the reads and camera tests. So it actually wasn't so scary.
Yeah, Gemma and I, we went through the ringer at the start because we both auditioned for all 3 mermaids every single time. Until our final callback where Tom, the casting director, ended up putting us together and making us go outside and practice for a while and then putting us back in the room together.
And basically he gave us Evie and Carly and was like, can you guys go do this outside? Yeah, I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Mine was really long. I was working at the airport in Brisbane, and I got a call from my agent saying, "Hey, you're still on hold for that mermaid show." I was like, "That was like 3 months ago that I auditioned for that." And then going back into the room with Tom McSweeney, who is one of the most prolific and brilliant casting directors in Australia, and just him making it into sort of like a couple of hours of games with Chai and myself, because I think what they wanted was to see whether Chai and I would gel, which of course we did because Chai's a legend, and whether we looked different enough was what was said to me, to be best friends and to be the different characters on the show without me knowing that obviously season 1 I would turn out to be the bad guy. But yeah, it ended up just being sort of a game between us, and we would just sort of improvise stuff together, and with the help of Tom, and yeah, it was brilliant. It was probably one of the best casting experiences I've ever had, because as you guys would know, and would probably agree with me, most castings you walk into a room with people and you want to make a good impression, and you do your 3 minutes of the scene, and they don't really tell you anything, and then they say thank you and you leave, and it's hard. It's difficult to do that over and over and over again. But when it was coming down to the final stages with Tom and Chai, it was just fun. It was just I was looking forward to it each time.
If there's any like aspiring actors watching this, I think this is like a relevant story. I didn't really have much professional acting experience, but I had gotten an agent and then randomly did a self-tape and then for Mako without having had any like training or acting training. But I had signed up for a workshop with Tom McSweeney, like completely as a coincidence already. So I think that helped skip the callback process. Like, so if there's any like, you know, aspiring actors watching, you know, those classes, sometimes you never really know who's watching, because I think that helps like move the process along.
To add on to that, the reason why I guess kept getting the call back was because I was an extra on Lightning Point.
Yeah, you were on H2O.
And Evan.
Gemma went as well.
Oh, I was on H2O.
Yeah.
I was extra on H2O.
I got fired from the cafe, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, Evan remembered me and he told me that.
I remember you, I guess, which is a pretty cool thing. Shout out to Tom.
Persistence is key. Oh, right. Like, I didn't have a prior sort of relationship with anyone up in Queensland, you know, other than seeing them in the audition room prior. And I remember all my audition was in Melbourne. It was similar to Dom. I did one in December. I just finished high school. I'd just come off the back of another series. I had no idea what I was going to do with my first year out of school. And I had my second audition, which was with Kate Ellis, the incredible drama coach that we had in season 1.
Kate Ellis, yeah.
And with Tom. And when I left the room, he said to me, he was like, would you move to Queensland for this? And I was like, yeah, of course I would. And he's like, no, Rowan, would you move to Queensland for this? And I was like, yes, absolutely. And then I remember getting there, talking to Evan, our director, and he was like, and this is where I'm getting at with persistence is key. He said to me, you know, I can remember your audition from Lightning Point. And from that point, I knew that I wanted to work with you in something. So, you know, as Alex was saying, aspiring people out there, you will always get a no. Like it is just the nature of the beast. But if you're persistent, people will remember you, people will recognize you, and it will pay off. So that's the sort of the key there, is the persistence.
Okay, who's the funniest cast member? I think Ivy was hilarious. Anyone who
she was so funny.
Yeah,
she was absolutely hilarious.
I remember really watching the season that Ivy was in, season 1, and like being really excited to work with her. Like I really wanted to work with her because she's so phenomenal, and I'd heard such great. Yeah.
Unlucky.
Aims for the excellent jokes.
Oh yeah,
that was too good.
All right.
So no one's gonna say that I'm funny.
No, I didn't want to.
I still think of your Stewie Griffin in Family Guy impression.
Yeah. Oh, stop it.
Okay, favorite blooper or the funniest moment on set?
It's kind of a personal one, isn't it? Because as was said before, like there wasn't a lot of times where we were all on set together. So I know for me, I have one, but it's very much revolves around myself. I don't want to sound selfish.
Oh my God, Rowan, so selfish.
I don't even know if anyone was there. There was one scene where at the very end of the shooting day, we were like really, really close to schedule. We're like, come on, we're just pushing the last like half an hour of overtime. And I have one line, which I can't even remember what it was. And I was walking up the pier with drinks in hand. I was saying something, and it's like last scene, super quick, like pressure's on, roll. You got to do this. We can all go home. We've all been here for 40 hours. And I was like, all over me.
Be with you in a minute, Zach. No, I won't. I won't ever be with you ever again. Oh no.
So I remember just like absolutely hightailing.
Didn't it happen a couple times, or was that with me?
Just one. I remember hightailing it back to the truck for costume, and luckily they had doubles and we put that on, and Bianca, the incredible costume woman, was like doing it with a hairdryer, like trying to dry it off in case I did it again. But I mean, that was one for me.
Like there was just like I think Alex said, there's so many inside jokes because you spend so much time together. Like I haven't spent, like, you spend 14 hours a day together and you're together all the time and you're doing this like really strange activities and there's strange scenes and lines. And so you just kind of end up with these really weird in jokes that keep you going and give you the belly laughs.
Also, there's like only certain jokes that people will laugh at when they've been together for almost 6 months, 12 hours a day, and you can just look at each other and break out in some sort of weird joke that objectively isn't funny at all, but it's just because it's the two. Like Brooke and I used to just look at each other and sort of start saying, if you like pina colada, and it was just, that was it. That's like, we would look at each other for a second and we'd both break out saying it's like simultaneously for no reason.
Hey, Dom, do you remember this one?
Oh, fingers in the pocket.
Big question, David, Carly, Cam. Did you ever want a tail?
Of course. I mean, who would say no to that? The problem is that mermaids have 6-packs and Davids have kegs. So, unfortunately, I like chocolate ice cream far too much to have a mermaid tail. So there it is. There's the truth.
It's an important question. Of course you wanted a tail.
You know what? To be honest, like I did want a tail. I wanted to be one of the mermaids when I auditioned, but I know the importance that I think Carly played not having a tail. I think that was really important because she was just like everybody else, you know, she was just a girl in this crazy world, you know.
I think it's unfair that you guys never at least got to like try someone else's on and like give it like a swirl, because like that feeling when you go like that is like so cool. Like
rub it in.
Unlike anything else.
So I would have liked it, but I know how hard it was for you guys, and I know how difficult it was, especially when you spend 2 to 3 weeks of the shooting block in the moon pool with those tails on for 10 to 12 to 14 hours a day. I'm not jealous of that. I'm just jealous of the fact that I wanted to be one of you guys.
There was a lot of camaraderie between the cast and the crew loved making us laugh, and they, like, one of the warmest feelings you'd feel, because the crew works so hard, is when we'd be fooling around and joking and then you'd see that the crew were laughing as well. You were like, yes, because it just feels like there was a boost of morale, because they work very hard. So it was cool that they'd get in on the jokes and they'd dress up, and we'd have like dress up days on Fridays and stuff.
Yeah.
I've got fun photos of everyone dressing up as 80s.
Yeah.
80s, pajamas, onesies.
Oh, the pajama day, that big photo we have. That's good memory.
Yeah.
And that's I think one of the major like positive memories about the shoot was that the crew were just phenomenal, and we were a family for those 3 seasons.
And there's so many of them too that no one gets to see, and they're just always there with us along the journey. They really make the show, I think.
There was definitely no them and us, with our crew.
No.
It was a family, and it was, that's what made it so special, and what made it so easy to do the hardest things that we had to do.
All right, Amy, what is your favorite Serena song?
So the one I really liked, the one in season 1 where I was in the cafe and there's some like shenanigans going on, and I put on an impromptu performance to distract people. I liked that song because it's more in my style of singing. It's like a big brassy musical theater kind of thing, whereas a lot of the other songs are more like pop, which is really lovely, but it's just like not what I normally sing. I really liked that song.
And Alex, how do you feel about being the bad guy?
Oh, I think that was a bit of a misconception. I think Eric was just misunderstood. Like, he had spent his whole life with the secret of being a merman and didn't have any friends or family, so he just desperately wanted to be a part of a pod. I guess like Zach. So I guess he, when the pressure of meeting all his new mermaid friends, he just wanted to figure out how to get back home or get his own version of his own pod. So, and then he felt so bad when everything didn't really work out, but the shame and the embarrassment, he just had to leave, I guess. Yeah, he'd been swimming around the world by himself for however long, and then finally meets or you find people. So it was the first time that he had ever been around other mermaids. So I guess he was just like sort of learning. A little bit socially awkward too, I guess.
All right. So, which couple do you ship? I have a controversial answer to this question. I should say Team Camley, but I actually ship Ivy and Dom.
Yeah.
Oh
Season
yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
good couple, which is a bit controversial, but that's my couple I ship.
I think that would have played out really well, actually, because we were both kind of the troublemakers / very sarcastic people. And Ivy and I, as actors, really worked off each other. She's a comedian to this day, and she's very improvisational. And I like to think that I am as well. I think it would have worked really well, but yeah, I preferred Cameron.
I obviously vote Endina or Arendina.
Arendina.
Arendina. I've seen a couple different variations online, but that would obviously be my vote.
I like little mini Evie, like when they were like real young and real cute, and like he got her like the present and saved her birthday party.
Here's another controversial one. I'm sure that a lot of fans won't like this because everyone loves Serena and David, but I did stroll across something once in the deep dark corners of the web, which was David and Cam, and I'll find it for you because it exists.
Well, luckily for me and Rowan, like we didn't get our on-screen romance, but we had a off-screen romance. we go fishing every weekend and go kayaking together and
rocking out to Tool in the trailer.
Oh God, and Hall and Oates.
Very fun memory.
But honestly, justice for Carly and Poseidon. They were ripped apart twice, and I don't think that they had a chance.
Poseidon. You said it was so good.
I actually got there was like a little girl who came up to me when I worked. I was living in Sydney, Australia, and I was working at the cinema. A little girl came up to me, like sort of very carefully, and she was like, tugged on my shirt. And she was like, "Are you Cam?" And the reason that she didn't ask, like she didn't say, "Are you Cam from Mako Mermaid?" She said, "Are you Cam?" And I sort of just like got down with her and I was like, "Yeah, but don't tell anyone. Like, I'm undercover. Like, there's some secret mermaid business going on." And she was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I can't tell you, but do you have any questions for the mermaids?" The most important thing, like, you know, they're not asking me questions about my character, but the fact that they're coming up to me and asking about the mermaids just means that the magic has permeated and it into them, and they are so enthralled with it. And I think that's probably the best thing that we've ever done. I think us, the crew, Jonathan Schiff, the production company, ZDF, Netflix, and to this day, it's still available on Netflix. And there's so many kids that are going to be able to access it, and I'm really proud of that. That makes me feel very full and very happy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think we all owe our fans such a huge we owe them so much. Thank you to all of you guys for watching, because we couldn't make the show without you guys, and it really warms our hearts that it's got to you. And I think especially at this time when there are lots of kids that haven't been able to go to school and are suffering from a lot of uncertainty and changes in their home and their school life and their friends. And I think that I just hope, and we all hope, that through watching the show, you could get a little magic and some hope. And yeah, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you.
The most important question. Will there be another season or a movie of Mako?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
So I mean, I would love there to be, like, following off what everyone just said about it being magic. I think that having us together again and creating something that was so fun to make and has obviously impacted so many people. I think that would be fantastic to go again. And I know that the producer of the show is working on something at the moment. The world, I don't know, we're just going to have to wait and see.
I also think that if and when we go back, Serena needs to keep her pink hair.
Yes.
Correct.
Can I
Agreed.
keep my red hair?
Yes.
Can I keep my brown hair? I would love to be a part of it because I know what happiness it brings into the world. And now more than ever, obviously, we need happiness and a way to escape and just be a little bit happy for a little while. And the world of Mako Mermaids has given that to so many people. And I would be honoured and privileged to be a part of that.
In this world, we're all alone.